The time I thought my Bumble date was going to kill me. Yeah.
They off the Bumble.
I be on Bumble. Don't do that. I need some new friends.
That better be the reason.
Girl. Anyways. Girl. Anyways. I found this sub off of a podcast that did Let's Not Meet story readings. And I felt like this fit into that genre. Shout out Kim. Never seen your podcast, but shout out to you.
Shout out Kim.
I actually might watch it because I enjoy stories like that. When I was 18, fresh out of a breakup, I decided to try dating apps for the first time. I didn't know much about them, only that Tinder was for hookups, and I wasn't interested in that. It's not just for hookups. We met on Tinder. Do you want to fight?
I didn't say anything.
I saw the face.
I'm looking at the snow.
Like I said, it's not bad. We met on Tinder.
I'm having such a good 3 years.
You better be. Anyways, we'll give y'all that story time another day. Anyways, Bumble felt like a safer choice, so I made a profile and started swiping. For weeks, I didn't get much traction. I live in a small southern town where my alternative style doesn't exactly fit in. The closest big city is an hour away, something that'll matter later. So I expanded my location settings, hoping to find someone more my type. Finally, I matched with a guy. We'll call him Jay. He was cute, alternative, and honestly, that was all I needed to start a conversation. That was kind of the problem. You ain't look at the bio.
You started wrong.
You ain't look at the bio.
You could have been like, I'm into eating people.
You ain't look at the bio. I need you to look. Y'all gotta look at the bios.
Because
what is
they're cute don't mean nothing.
Like, you could have missed that one little detail in their bio. He matched with me a little later, and we started talking. Jay was charming and seemed to have this natural way of saying the right thing. We clicked. It felt good to talk to someone who seemed to genuinely share my interests, a refreshing change from my last relationship. After about a week of messaging, we planned a date. A week? I can't talk.
I'm about to say, I can't talk.
First of all, I'm in a lesbian relationship. I can't talk.
She can't talk at all. She can't.
And we're U-Haul lesbians. I have no room. I have no room. Okay. The idea was to meet up at a mall in the city. He lived there, and I had to meet my friends a couple blocks from the mall that night after the date, so it worked out for the both of us. It felt like a safe public spot, and I was nervous but excited. When the day came, things started off fine. Jay looked like his pictures, and the conversation flowed well enough. But not even 30 minutes in, things started to get weird.
Not 30 minutes.
Yeah,
30 minutes. You couldn't. You know you got 30 minutes?
Do you know you have 30 minutes?
Are you kidding me?
30, yes.
So you got 30 minutes?
Like, you couldn't even give him an hour? Like, 30 minutes? You can go ahead.
Mm-mm. He was touchier than I was comfortable with, holding my hand, rubbing my back and arms, and even brushing his hand along my thighs when we sat. I don't know you, sir. She don't know you. Oh, no. Not touching.
Mm-mm.
I'm shy by nature, and at the time, I was also a huge people pleaser. So I didn't know how to tell him to stop. I just kept laughing nervously, hoping he'd pick up on my discomfort. He didn't. Obviously, he don't pick up on social cues.
But he cute, right?
He cute, though, right? Mm.
See?
At one point, he started joking about how his beanie was actually a ski mask rolled up. Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. What was his plans after the date?
To rob you?
He said that if he pulled it down, he could walk into a store and pretend to be a robber. I laughed it off, thinking he was just trying to be funny, but the joke stuck with me. The touching only got worse. While we were sitting in the food court, he suddenly picked me up out of my chair and tried to sit me on his lap.
What?
This is going far.
What?
This is going a little too far for my liking. I'm getting uncomfortable. I froze, completely caught off guard. When I managed to laugh nervously and pull away, I mumbled something about how we were in public and that I wasn't comfortable. Instead of apologizing, he just stared at me deadpan, then buried his face in my chest and wrapped his arms around my waist like it was no big deal. I was mortified. Me?
So he's a perv. You know what? He probably put that in his bio.
You don't even look.
You ain't even look.
He's a color.
Okay.
People around us were staring at him, basically cuddling me, and I wanted to disappear. I kept telling myself to get through the date, convincing myself that it wasn't as bad as it felt. Thankfully, the mall started closing, and I used it as an excuse to wrap things up. He immediately switched back to being charming, like nothing had happened, and I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. That's your problem. Red flags.
The reddest of flags.
Red flags.
The
Why?
reddest of the flag. You give the benefit of the. You know what?
That you made that flag yellow and orange, 'cause ain't no way. Jesus.
She just pissed me off.
Like, girl, we don't give people benefit of the doubt. Once you start seeing them being weird, they're weird. They're weird.
Don't give them an excuse.
As we left, he suggested driving to the Riverwalk downtown to take a walk before I headed home. It sounded innocent enough, so I agreed. Girl, how secluded is this Riverwalk? I need to find out.
Mm-hmm. They're gonna push you off the rail.
When we got there, everything seemed fine again at first. We strolled along the path, talking casually. Then out of nowhere, he pulled down his ski mask and joked, "What if people think I'm kidnapping you?" Excuse me? First of all, you wore a ski mask to a date. I'm already on 10 about that. What?
See, I've seen this on Criminal Minds.
This is too much.
This is some Criminal Minds stuff.
This is too much. I laughed awkwardly, trying to play it off. "I wouldn't be holding your hand if you were," I said. That's when his expression changed. He stared at me through the mask, completely deadpan, and said, "Do I not scare you enough? You came out here with a stranger an hour away from home. You don't even know me. Do you realize how easy it would be for me to get rid of you? No one would ever find you. Run." Run, girl. Run. Run.
Oh my God. This is some scary shit. Like scary movie?
Yeah. Cause what? Bruh. If this was a movie, I am screaming at the screen.
But I'm also very entertained.
But bruh.
What?
Right. Unlatch your fingers. As soon as he's unlatched the fingers.
Real slowly and just book it. I mean, zoom. Like, what?
I'm scared because if you book it, he gonna hit the.
Yep.
I'm scared. All right. I froze. The lighthearted energy disappeared, replaced with a sinking feeling of dread. It was getting dark, and the path was practically empty. My parents didn't even know I was on a date. I told them I was out with friends. If something happened, no one would know where to look. Girl, share your location before you go doing stuff with people. What is wrong? What is wrong? You just drop a pin. It don't even matter. Honestly, it don't even matter who you drop a pin.
Mm-hmm.
And just be like, "I'm going on a date. I don't know this person." That should be the first thing you should have did.
That's what I did.
Like, come on, man.
That's what I did for you.
I bet you did.
I surely did.
I did it when I came down here for you. I could send it straight to my cousin. Sure did.
We were together at that time.
We were not together when I first came down here. Oh, yes, we were.
Yeah, we were.
Wow, we were.
Exactly.
That don't mean nothing.
But no, we weren't together.
But that don't mean nothing.
I was in somewhere I've never been. It's just
I had never been to DC or Maryland before I had even met her. So me coming down here for the first time, I had to
know her.
Me and my cousin don't play that. Every time my cousin go on a date, I'm on a date. Drop the pin immediately. Watch my location. Bet. It's an immediate thing with us.
So you didn't feel safe?
What?
Is that what you're telling me?
Girl, she gonna get my pin regardless. Because first of all, if my location turns off, just like she did today, she gonna be like, "Why is your location off?
Why did you turn your location off?"
I don't even know why my location off was off for her. I don't even know. I thought it was on. My location shouldn't be off for nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Don't start. Anyways, before I could say anything, he started laughing loud and sudden, like it was the funniest thing in the world. God, you need to take a Xanax. Did you actually think I was serious? Yeah.
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 You got a ski mask.
Like, you wore a ski mask to a date. And the things that
you said the details so specifically.
Like, you were very...
no, you
that was planned. Very detailed and thorough, how you thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I don't like
no.
that. I forced a laugh, trying to regain some sense of normalcy, but I was shaking. I told him it wasn't funny, but he just brushed it off and kept walking, slipping back into his charming persona like nothing bad. Like nothing had happened.
So you have multiple personalities.
Mm-hmm. Baby,
mm-hmm.
I don't like this date. On the walk back to the car, he insisted on carrying me bride style because I mentioned my feet were sore. I didn't know how to say no, so I let him. Girl, speak up.
You better speak up for yourself.
Or you better start pushing people.
Better start slapping them in the face. No.
I don't wanna. Put me down. When we finally got to his car, he was eerily quiet. The charm was gone again, replaced by that cold, emotionalist demeanor. This man got multiple personalities, and I think he needs to run. Quite frankly, this is not Criminal Minds. This is not sounding okay.
What's that movie? What is that movie?
Split?
Yes. This is some Split stuff.
Mm-hmm. As he drove me back to the mall where my car was parked, I tried
You didn't even take your own car?
Girl.
Whoa.
What?
You didn't take your own car?
She's 18 at this time, honestly. But honestly, I even would have knew that at 18 to take my own car.
Because this man is already being fishy. You
like, why wouldn't you take your own car? Girl, they would have. The last place they would have had for your location was the mall.
Yep. They would never know. You just disappeared in thin air.
Girl. As he drove back to the mall where my car was parked, I tried to fill the silence by asking him questions about himself, his family, his interests, but his answers were vague and monotone. I stopped trying after a while, counting down the minutes until I could leave. But instead of pulling into the main parking lot where my car was, he veered off into an empty parking garage. My stomach dropped.
Oh, God. Oh, my God.
He drove all the way to the top level where it was completely dark and deserted. My heart was racing as he parked the car and sat there in silence. I unbuckled my seatbelt, casually leaning towards the door and gripping the handle, ready to bolt if I needed to. Jay turned to me with that deadpan stare again, glancing around the empty parking garage. It's so quiet up here, he said. No one's around, and the street lights aren't even working. Kind of creepy, huh? Then he pulled his ski mask down and started making ghost noises. Even with him trying to make jokes, he just in that moment was not the same guy anymore. No more charm. He was just empty. I tried to laugh, but I was shaking so hard I could barely breathe. I thought about the Riverwalk, his comment about getting rid of me and how isolated we were. I genuinely thought this was it, that I wasn't going to make it home. I'm so sorry.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry.
This
is not okay. Finally, I managed to stammer, "Hey, I need to meet my friends soon, remember?" I tried to keep my voice light like I wasn't on the verge of tears. "Let's look at the stars first. I just wanted to watch the stars with you," he told me, staring at me with a blank expression. He opened the sunroof, which he had not even alluded to for the first 10 minutes we were there. I had no idea how to say no, so I agreed to stay for 5 more minutes. Girl, stop agreeing to stay. Go home.
You're going to get yourself killed.
Go home. It's giving you're putting yourself in this predicament.
Right, you're putting yourself in danger.
Go home. We both leaned back to look at the sky, but all I could think about was getting out of there. When my phone showed 5 minutes had passed, I sat up and said I had to go. He grabbed my face and kissed me. Mm-hmm. I froze, completely caught off guard, and pulled back as quickly as I could, pretending I just got a text from my friend. He didn't say anything, just glared at me with this cold, angry expression as he started the car. The drive back to my car was silent, and as soon as we got there, I jumped out of his car and into mine. I didn't even wait for him to leave before blocking him on everything. That was 3 years ago, and somehow Jay still tries to contact me. He's used a burner account to stalk my social media and even messaged me last year through fake profiles. I have no idea why he's so fixated on me, but I've taken every precaution I can to keep him out of my life. Now I'm 21 in a healthy relationship and mentally in a much better place. The whole situation has become a running joke with me and my friends when we go to that mall, and I'll never forget how terrified I was that night. I don't know what his intentions were, and I don't want to know. So, Jay, let's not meet ever again.
Jay, don't you meet her. Leave her alone.
Jay,
you are a psychopath.
You finna go to jail. You finna go to jail.
Prison.
Because the restraining order gonna be real. It's gonna be so real because, girl, get a restraining order. Get a restraining order. First of all, he kissed you without your consent. Get a restraining order. Don't piss me off. You're 21
Girl.
and this man is... This happened when you were 18 and this man is still trying to hit you up.
Right.
Girl.
You're the one that got away.
You definitely need to report him to the police.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if he didn't do anything that bad. If he did...
But you don't know what he did.
You don't know what he's done before you. Put a police report out on his behind. They need him on the radar. Because, that's too much. It was weird. It's just weird. Not even 30 minutes in, he being weird.
Right. You could give her hours.
But girl, you should have went home.
You should have took your own car.
You should have went home.
The moment he did that thing in the food court, you should have just been like, you know what? Goodbye. Don't know how to say no. I bet
Over here doing all that touching.
But
What
I
were you
bet she
touching
learned
me
her
for?
lesson and read that profile.
I don't even like you. Oh, y'all just be letting people touch y'all? I don't understand. Absolutely not. No. Yeah. Don't y'all ever meet again. Comment.
Give me a juicy one.
I am so effing glad that you are all right. He sounds legitimately extremely dangerous. Keep and increase the distance between you until he forgets about you. This may take a very long time. The jokes he made, I have never heard a person make ever. I am so glad you are okay and you have a good partner. Maybe consider getting a big dog. Just saying. I wish you all the happiness in the future. Okay, someone has a thick comment. They said, damn, I thought our date went really well. I'm that Jay. LMAO, just kidding. Don't play like that.
Don't play like that.
Don't play like that on people's phone.
Her heart probably dropped.
Question. How can you, and everyone else apparently, possibly know, better yet assume this guy is dangerous? What do you mean?
So you're Jay. You're
Okay.
Jay. You're really Jay.
I agree. Dude definitely has some piss poor communication skills regarding the do's and don'ts when dating. Trying to contact her several times after being blocked is pretty creepy for sure. But think about this. Dude is her age, I'm assuming 18, 19, and from the South, and I'm assuming Caucasian. Probably his first date, if not, has very little experience due to his age, so he hasn't understood. Trying to contact her after being blocked is a F no. I don't want to F with you sign, and even illegal to an extent. Probably thinks being persistent is some type of affection one can display to gain a mate. 2, youth these days are developing shit poor social skills because they're constantly behind a phone or monitor playing VGJO or watching some dumbass video they'll most likely JO to later.
Okay. So what's he saying? He was immature.
Yeah. 3, he's from the South, so I don't need to say more. What you trying to say? Because I'm from the South, and baby, we don't get down like that. Baby, you better back up. Because I'm from the South and don't touch me. It's straight like that. So what are you trying to say?
I think he's probably means like the South.
South as in...
Redneck South.
Oh, baby, I don't know nothing about redneck South. I can't tell you much about that. Baby, I don't involve myself with redneck South. So sorry. Sorry to y'all folks. 4, he's presumably white, not trying to make this into a race thing. I'm just saying when I hear or read dating stories, it's usually the white dudes that are the ones pulling off the psycho shit. Also, statistically, they're more likely to be a rapist or something along those lines, so yeah.
Yeah.
Got a point there. I'm not defending the guy at all, but you can't go around saying this dude is dangerous because of one bad date and staking behavior that succeeded. Kid probably just needs a lot of guidance from a strong male presence, but doesn't have it because he comes from a divorced household, which happened at a young age when the dad dumped the mom because she was hoeing it on Tinder behind dad's back because he couldn't get it up anymore for her due to all the jacking off he was doing because dad was obsessed with online porn. I mean, that's an assumption. That was a really detailed assumption.
Are you going through something?
Are you going through things?
Or is this actually Jay?
There's some underlying reason why.
Because that was very specific.
I don't understand. You came up with a very detailed underlying reason why.
I think it's Jay.
Jay?
Are you trying to defend
if
yourself?
It is, give it up. And not only that, it's just too much. Their comment is way too much. OP responded to them. She said, "Thanks so much. All I could ever think about was the many other women I would see him talk about when he would message me and wonder if they went through something similar and if they are even okay. When he sent me texts, he always ended up saying basically none of the others are quite like you. So there has to be other women who endured this. All in all, I learned my lesson and hope others can too."
So he was sending you these texts for a week straight, always saying none of them are like you. You still went out on the date with him?
I think this was actor.
Okay then.
I
just don't know what to say.
Girl,
I'm glad you're alive.
No, for real. I'm glad you're here with us.
I'm glad you're alive.
Hallelujah.
Jay, you deserve to go to prison.
Jay, I don't know why that man said anything about you not going to jail. You need to be going. I don't think jail. Maybe not jail. Therapy.
Crazy house.
Yes. That's more fitting.
There we go.
But
get you some help.
Get some meds.
Because
meds, strong ones.
Because Jay.
Don't. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Understood
you were 18, but now y'all are now 21 years old and you're still on the same antics. Grow up. And get a life. And go about your day. Learn social cues. All right. That was disturbing.
I picked a good one, didn't I?
You did. I can't lie. You definitely did. We got one more for y'all.
Ooh, I'm ready for this
one. This one is, can someone help me find out what happened to my third great grandmother? She seems to have disappeared at the age of 36. Well, baby.
Let me get some pencil and paper because I bet I can solve it.
My whole thing is, what makes you think we
I'm about to get this. Tell me everything. Let's go. I watched Criminal Minds, Law and Order, CSI Miami. I watched all of this. I am ready.
I have a notebook and a pen in my purse.
I got her. Let's do this.
Get to the back of the book. There you go. All right.
CSI, Criminal Minds. Don't fail me now. Let's go.
Oh, God. I am trying to find out what happened to my third great grandmother. Her maiden name is Mary Simpson. Mary Simpson.
How do you spell that?
Sipson.
Sipson.
And she was born sometime around 1870.
Oh.
Girl, she is dead.
She is gone.
She is gone.
18.
She is dead and gone. I do not know.
This is over 100 years ago.
I do not know when she died. Well, we know she did.
She did. Gone and dead.
Her life was very tragic, and I'm worried she may have gone missing or committed suicide, and her body was never found. Oh. I have not found her in a single census record. I do not know her date of birth, her place of birth, the name of her brother, or any siblings. Girl, you ain't got nothing to work with. What do you want me to work with?
I can't help you.
She had 3 different last names that I'm aware of, and I could not find a death record or any record for her after 1906. I'm not sure how a person can simply fall off the face of the earth, but I've hit a dead end. Girl, she didn't want to be found.
Right. She
That's what it sounds like.
She's out the state, out the country.
This sounds like she did not want to be found. If you can't find nothing about her, that means she didn't want to be found.
She's in the CIA.
When did the CIA form? What year? We went to the Spy Museum.
18.
Let's look it up.
No. I think I'm right.
I'm still gonna look it up.
CIA had to be like in the 1800s.
No, baby.
Okay.
No, baby. I knew
1960s.
No, baby.
1980s.
No, baby.
1700s.
No, baby.
1600s.
Give it up.
When was it founded?
September 18th, 1947.
I was
She
close.
not in no dang on CIA.
What about FBI? CIA and FBI, 2 different things.
But why would she be going undercover in the FBI?
She wanted to be a spy.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. Throughout her life, she also went by the names Mary Hardinger and Mary Manschreck.
I can't help you. I can't help you.
Here's the timeline of her life.
Okay, let's do this.
She was born in Ohio sometime around 1870.
1870.
Her father was a man named William Simpson.
Dad is William.
In June 1886, she married a man named Grant Hardinger in Bedford, Michigan. Her age is listed as 16 and his age is listed as 19.
Why are you getting married at 16?
Girl, that was back in the days. They could do that. They was here for that.
Okay.
Girl, them slave days. I'm just saying. In November 1887, her son George Hardinger was born in Samaria, Michigan. In October 1890, her son Walter was born in Toledo, Ohio. In September 1893, her daughter Julia was born in Toledo, Ohio. In June of 1898, her husband Grant, while working as a police officer in Toledo, was accused of raping 2 young girls while in the line of duty. It became a major scandal in Toledo and was heavily covered in the Toledo Bee. He allegedly forced them into a school vestibule and forced himself on them. He pleaded not guilty. He was convicted in October of 1898 and sentenced to 7 years in the Ohio Penitentiary. During the trial, his health declined and Mary stood by him and tended to his health. Doctors said she was the reason he survived. In September 1899, her daughter Julia died at the age of 5.
Oh, no.
I'm so sorry, girl.
I'm so sorry.
In February of 1900, Mary requested a divorce from Grant on the grounds that he was in prison and could no longer take care of her.
Not that he raped 2 girls?
That part. That part.
Not because
he raped 2 girls, but because
he's in prison and can't take care of his family.
All right, girl. Choices. This was considered a surprise by the newspapers as she had always stood by his side. In April of 1900, the divorce was granted by a judge. On May 23rd, 1900, Mary married Henry Manschreck in Monroe, Michigan. Mr. Manschreck was 32 years old and Mary was listed as being 28. This would put her real birth year as 1872, which would have made her 14 at her previous marriage instead of 16 as reported. I am not sure which birth year
you were
is
always
accurate.
one of them. He was always, so the ex-husband's always one of them.
But back in them days, that's the age they were getting married and having babies. That's the age they were doing that. In the 1900 census, her sons George and Walter were reportedly living with their uncle, Stephen Hardinger, Grant's brother. She does not appear to be living with them, and I could not find her in the 1900 census. In December of 1900, her ex-husband Grant tried to obtain a pardon to be released from prison. A newspaper article reports that Grant's ex-sister-in-law has accused him of killing a man named August Redding in 1886. The newspaper asked Mary for her thoughts, and she said she did not believe her ex-husband was responsible for murder. You don't believe a lot of things about your ex-husband.
So your ex-husband was a rapist and a killer?
Wow.
Wow.
You know how to pick them, girl.
Right. You got a resume. Okay.
In April 1903, her ex-husband Grant was released from prison. On January 30th, 1905, the Toledo News-Bee reports that Mary has gone missing. Mrs. Henry Manstrom.
I solved it. She was killed. See, Criminal Minds, Law and Order. So the ex-husband got out of jail. Then you tell me now she's gone missing, and she filed for divorce.
You ain't gonna let me finish?
She got killed.
Hush. Anyways, Mrs. Henry Manstreck, wife of Toledo Railways and light conductor number 270, disappeared from her home at 1708 Canton Avenue yesterday and has not been found. Her husband has made a tour of the hospitals but has found no trace of her. He states that he has no grievance at her and is at a loss to account for her disappearance. On February 1st, 1905, the Toledo News-Bee reported that Mary had returned home. Her husband, Henry, thought she may have been injured and taken to a hospital somewhere. She said that she was called away suddenly and had no opportunity to communicate with her family. In April 1905, her husband, Henry, put out a notice in the Toledo News-Bee. He stated, "I will not be responsible for any debts contracted by my wife, Mrs. H. Manstreck, formerly of 1708 Canton Street from this date." On October 6, 1905, Mary reportedly attempted suicide by taking chloroform. She was living as a housekeeper in Toledo, separately from her husband. She was out the night before and returned at 7 a.m. and went to her room. Mr. Jennings, the owner of the home, went and found her in a bed with a chloroform bottle near her. He called a doctor who administered an antidote. The paper reported that she was likely to recover.
Let me tell you something. This paper...
Why they know it? Dang! Is this how it was back in the days? Like, y'all knew everything.
Reported everything.
Jesus! I don't want to live in y'all town.
Reporting every single thing.
Just gossip. On October the 12th, 1905, the Toledo News-Bee reported that Henry was suing his wife for divorce. Dang, why do y'all know this? Why do y'all know this?
I'll be pissed in that town. I can't do nothing.
The article reads, Henry Manstreck claims that his wife Mary has been guilty of infidelity in that she has shown a fondness to be in the society of strange men. For that reason, suit for divorce was filed yesterday, and the husband also asked that she be barred from all dower, D-O-W-E-R. Dower, okay, in his property. The wife recently took morphine, but her life was saved. Girl,
she's just trying to offer herself.
Put her on suicide watch.
So I solved it again. So she committed suicide.
Oh Jesus! She claimed to have been with her husband the night before, but he claimed she was with another man. No, this article says it was morphine, but the previous article said it was chloroform. On March 10, 1906, a judge granted the divorce and the marriage with Mr. Manstreck ended. In January 1908, her son George married a woman named Mabel Kahn. In September 1910, her son Walter married a man named Her son married a woman named Mabel Mallory. This is the last mention of her in any record I could find. In 1929, her ex-husband, Henry Manstreck, died in Toledo, Ohio. He was 57 and was working as a gas station clerk. The record lists him as being a widower.
What?
So if the record lists him as being a widower, she died.
So I'm going to assume that she offed herself. She'd been trying so hard.
She was trying.
And she succeeded.
In 1948... What?
Go ahead.
Okay. In 1948, her ex-husband Grant died at the age of 80. In 1961, her son George died at the age of 73. In 1963, her son Walter died at the age of 73. That's all the information I have. I could not find birth records, death records, or census records. I have the name of her father, but not her mother, and I could not figure out who her father was or where he came from. I am concerned that she was in a bad situation in that she was a 36-year-old, twice divorcee who had been engulfed in a scandal which was reported by the newspaper. Why have I been unable to find out what happened to her? What are some of the theories of what happened to her, and what should be my strategy to find out?
My theory is that she offed herself because she was trying so hard, or yeah,
I think she killed herself.
I think she been trying.
I think she
too much.
I think she either got a whole new identity, so it's one of two things. She could have either gone somewhere where nobody knew her and started a whole new life, because honestly, back in them days, they ain't have ID.
Yeah.
They ain't have too many forms of ID for real.
So she
could have literally made a whole new life and went somewhere and literally started all over, or she offed herself.
Yeah, but I like your theory though. So she went out and grew old and died.
Yeah,
she had a family and everything,
and nobody would ever know because she got a new name.
Exactly, she had a whole new identity.
So yeah, no, you wouldn't have been able to find her under that name because it isn't the fact that she wouldn't have changed it in her new city, in her new town.
So that is our theory.
That's my theory.
My theory is that she offed herself.
Someone said, I'm not as experienced as many here, so I'm sure you'll get better answers, but here are my thoughts. Just wondering, did you try tracing George and Walter? I assume one is your great-great-grandfather and you've looked into him. But if you didn't try tracing the other, I'd probably do that. See if maybe she's living with her son, maybe also Grant. I'd also be aware for her maybe being misrecorded as Simpson. That's true. Or something somewhere. Simpson is obviously not a common last name, and I could easily see it getting recorded somewhere as Simpson. I'd also maybe try to learn, if you don't already know, where her 3 kids are buried, and maybe even the 2 ex-husbands, and see if maybe she was buried near them when she died. Maybe there was a family plot. I'd probably also check Ohio/Michigan probate indexes, if you haven't already, to see if she or any of the other players are anywhere there. I wouldn't be all too optimistic about any of that panning out, but it's some ideas at least.
Man, you sound like a professional.
Talk about I'm not as experienced. Girl,
you just gave her a whole plan.
Records weren't great back then. Dropping out of mention would hardly be unusual. I know that doesn't help find her, but I would try not to worry about the worst case scenario just because everything was paper and women took their husbands' names back then. Maybe look for another marriage record with Manstrek misspelled. Good luck. Someone found the death record of Henry Manstrek. It says he was widowed when he passed away in 1929. And someone said they're curious why he is listed as widowed, since the newspaper says they divorced in 1906. I always wondered if that could have been another woman, but I never found another marriage record for him.
This is some detective stuff.
Bro, you got all the detectives coming out. If their divorce went through the court, see if you can get a copy of their case. It may shed light on her personality and behavior. If she left without notice before and it is noted in the case, then it may tell you where she would go for help. And honestly, she did leave before, and nobody knew where she was. So she came back. But my whole thing is, she could leave once without nobody knowing where she went, what she was doing,
without a trace.
She could do it again, and she could just do it this time and stay away and literally change her whole life.
You got a whole different family somewhere else.
Someone said just a few suggestions. If you feel she possibly died in some way where she was not identified, if you've done a DNA test, maybe upload your raw data to GED Match. I will never do that. So many people are now working on identifying this John Doe's, so you never know. Also, if you have taken a DNA test, maybe look for fairly close matches that you can't quite link up. There's always a chance she left and started a new life. Also, if you do a search and a record looks close but a different last name, don't rule it out immediately. There was a recent case solved where Mary Jane Van Glider Van Gilder. Left her family behind, remarried, and had more kids. Out of curiosity, I looked her up on Ancestry, and there was one record with her new last name. I don't know if that was always there or was added after the fact. If you have access to a newspaper site, also try searching the addresses. You never know what might come up. I have a Polish line and I have a Polish line and I can't even begin. I can't even begin.
Take your time.
To tell you how many different ways that last name is misspelled.
So it might be a whole time. Her name might just be misspelled.
That part. Based on records, they lived at the same address for about 20 years, and when I searched that, I found all kinds of stuff I hadn't seen before. It's frustrating to hit a dead end and have no information. I have several of those on my tree, but no direct ancestors, so I haven't dug too far. Best of luck in your search. I hope you find some answers. Let me see. I think the OP responded to this. And she said, so this is interesting. I heeded your advice and decided to search the address. It turns out that Henry's father, Christian, who was also living at the same address as Henry and Mary, passed away about 2 weeks before he put the notice in the newspaper that he would no longer be responsible for her debts. Could just be a coincidence on the timing, but maybe he was inheriting part of his estate and wanted to cut her out. I'm not sure. Edit. I also found an article of her disappearance, which I will add to the timeline. This has been very fruitful. Thank you for your advice. Someone found something. On September 12, 1910, Walter Wesley Harding, born October 16, 1889, Toledo, Ohio, occupation of fireman, full name Grant Harding, married to Mary Simpson, married Mary Henrietta Mallory. I think 19. Oh, I'm sorry, he wasn't born October 16th. He was 16 in October of 1889. And she was 19 of. Hold on, give me a second. She was 19 in 1901, Toledo, Ohio, in Toledo, Lucas, Ohio. Perhaps follow his docs to see if he ever lived with them or if her info is on his Find a Grave page. Walter is my second great grandfather. I have seen these records, and it's the only time she's ever mentioned after 1906. Unfortunately, she does not appear to be living with either of the sons in the census records that I found. People are doing investigative work for this girl.
I'm not mad. I'm loving this. Continue. Come after you, intrigued. I want to know what's going on.
Ohio state law began mandating births to be recorded at the county level effective 1867. There's no online statewide index, but you could at least start by searching the counties you know she lived in to try to find more about her birth. People are really trying to figure out if Simpson is the name.
Because it might have been misspelled.
That. Someone said, apologies if you've seen this already, but it looks like the family in 1880, including daughter Mary, gives the mother's name. An estimated birth date of Mary is 1875. Might lead to something. She said, thank you for sharing. This is interesting and can lead to something, but there are a couple of inconsistencies. One, the spelling is Simpson instead of Simpson or Sisson, but that's probably not a big deal as there were many spelling variations. It lists her birthplace as Michigan instead of Ohio, which was reported in a marriage record, though the marriage record may not necessarily be accurate. Most importantly, it gives her birth year as 1875, which would have made her only 11 at the time of her first marriage in 1886, when she stated she was 16. I'm not sure how to
now she's 11.
Difference. They don't have anything
now
because
it keeps going lower and lower and lower.
It's inconsistent. But they are living in the Detroit area, which is not far, and the father's name is William, which matches. I'll look into this. Edit. It appears this is not the same person. This Mary married a man named Mark Starkwell in 1895. So that was the wrong Mary.
Yeah. You having trouble with these names?
A little bit. But yeah, everybody trying to help her. Girl,
I hope you
find her.
Because now I'm intrigued. Now I want to know. Did
I
she
hope
really
you find
start
her.
a whole new life? I still think FBI, CIA, spy.
No, ma'am. They hadn't even started those by then.
I think they have.
If we just looked up CIA, what makes you think FBI?
You never know. Spies were not at that time.
For the government.
Exactly.
But the thing about it is, hey, it kind of makes sense. I can't lie.
See?
Because she did leave, and she said she had to leave abruptly.
My point.
Without saying anything to anybody. Hey,
She was called.
Mm-hmm.
She's a spy. Mm-hmm.
Valid points.
Mm-hmm. 007. Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yep.
I hope you find out some more.
So go on the government websites.
Mm-hmm.
Now there we go. Government.
But the thing about government,
you're gonna be erased.
Yeah, they're gonna erase you. So
I really think that she was a spy and she left abruptly because she was called for something.
I just think either that could be the case, but it can also just be she was a regular girl and she was trying to get away. She was already trying to commit suicide, so she obviously wasn't happy with her life. So why not leave and create a new one?
It just sounds so boring.
I mean, it may be
the
boring.
spy is so much better.
You just want some excitement. You're gonna be mad if it's a real boring story to why she left. You're gonna be mad if all
I'm gonna be pissed.
Oh, you're gonna be mad if all she did was die. But all right, y'all. So y'all tell us y'all thoughts, and honestly, we're gonna put the name of the authors to the stories in the description, so that way, if y'all want to go check out these stories, if y'all want to read the comments, if y'all want to read the articles, help them a little bit.
Yeah, help her, please.
Do y'all thing.
And please let me know if she was a spy.
Do y'all biggest one. If y'all want to come back and let us know when they update, if they do update, let us know. And yeah, we are pretty much done with this episode.
I like this episode.
It was nice. These were some interesting stories. But y'all tell us what y'all think. Comment, like, subscribe, follow, and definitely just keep supporting us. All right, y'all. So we will see y'all next episode.
If I do not see you, good morning, good afternoon,